You ever made a decision you regret and you wish you could go back and make a different decision now? So I made a decision years ago. Let's say 12, 13 years ago, I made a decision and I wish I could change it. And the reason that this came up is because of a video I just put up a while back about a lady who got married and her husband canceled the wedding on the honeymoon, or canceled the honeymoon the first day because she texted an ex for her own closure. Okay. And that actually sparked something in me because I had something similar happen. Okay. And it wasn't that I was getting married or anything like that, but I had this friend that I was very close with since we were like 5 and 7 years old. We became extremely close. I always called her kid because she was 2 years younger than me. All right. And when you're 15 and she's 13, that's just a little bit too young, at least from my perspective as I was. And so she was always kid. As we got older, she became extremely beautiful, but we moved away and decided we could never talk again. And we just said, we're not going to talk again because we're going to ruin any relationship. Her and I were too close. We're going to ruin any relationship we would ever be in. And so this is about 12 or 13 years ago, after her and I hadn't spoken for, I think, boy, it was probably 10 years. We hadn't said a single word in 10 years to each other. Out of the blue, she sends me a message and says, I need your help. Can I please come over and talk? And I was like, yeah, come. So she showed up at my front door and she's sitting across from me and she's bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? And who do I have to go beat up? You know, and it's slightly exaggerated, but it's kind of how I'm feeling inside at that moment. And she's like, I'm getting married in 3 days and I want to know if you're going to stop me. And we hadn't said a single word in 10 years. And so in that situation, I can see she clearly doesn't want to get married. Okay. She obviously still wants to marry me and all of that stuff, but all that aside, she doesn't want to get married. My response in that moment, and first let me explain why she's getting married. Her parents, her family, the church, everybody are pushing her to get married because that's what women are supposed to do according to them. Okay. And while she's always had a dream of being a stay-at-home mom, it's what she loves to do. This was not the right man for her. She knew it, but all her family was pushing her, get married now, get married now. He's got millions of dollars. Okay. He'll take care of her for the rest of their life and them because they were going into business with him. But all that stuff aside, she asked me, what should she do in that moment? And I told her, hey, kid, that's what I called her since we were young, was kid. And she's 30 at that time. But I said, hey, kid, this is your decision. You got to make it on your own. And I can't help you here. I'm sorry. Right? From my perspective, in that exact minute right there, I would have taken her to the courthouse and married her. Okay. That's how connected her and I were. All right. And even though we hadn't spoken in 10 years, I would have married her right there. However, to start a relationship in that situation isn't right. And so I couldn't do that. And so I just told her, hey, kid, it's your life. You got to figure it out. This isn't my place to say anything, especially being a man. You know, I can't involve myself in your relationship. And so I walked away. Now, what I wish I had said, this is what I should have said, in my opinion, was I can't tell you what to do. You got to make up your own mind on what you want to do. But the very fact that you're here asking me about it implies you got a lot of thinking to do. And maybe you shouldn't marry him just yet. That's what I should have said, but I didn't say it at that time. And believe me, the second she left, I spent days, weeks, years crying myself to sleep over not stopping her, because she ended up going and getting married. And not only did he not stop drinking, after she got married, she found out why he got split from his previous woman, and it was because of DV. He went to jail for domestic violence against her. And not only that, but his alcoholism kept getting worse and worse. He couldn't stop no matter what he did. Then he got hooked on cocaine. Okay. And then he got hooked on prostitutes and porn and all of this stuff. And it was just destroying her life. She was scared to death of him. His idea of how to punish their kids. After a couple of years, they had kids. They had 2 kids. They're 4 and 2. And he told them to pick their toys up in the living room. They didn't do it. So he grabbed all their toys, put them in the yard, set the kids on the porch, took his truck while he's drunk and drove over the toys again and again so they could see what happens when they don't listen to daddy. That's the kind of guy he is. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to talk smack about him right now. I don't like this freaking guy, man. Anyway, he's been an ex now for years, okay, but of hers. But here's the thing. What would you have said in that situation? It's not my place to tell her not to get married. We haven't spoken in 10 years, even though we know everybody's we know each other's darkest secrets. We know everything about each other. But we hadn't spoken in 10 years. I didn't feel like it was my place to even warn her. And so instead I just said, hey kid, you got to figure this out on your own. Gave her a hug and said, please don't contact me again. And even though it broke my heart to do that, I think I handled it wrong. But please let me know what you think and what you would have said, given the context of who her and I were together, not just from your perspective, but try to put yourself in my shoes. What would you say? I think I said the wrong thing. you know. But let me know. Sorry I rambled on here. I get a little frustrated when I even think about this dude, okay, because he's still just as bad as he ever was, and still as controlling as he ever was, dictates the vast majority of her life. It's so frustrating, even though they've been divorced for 8 or 9 years now. But anyway, let me know what's up, and yeah, I don't know, just let me know what's up with your thoughts.